Right, we've got a great video for you today. I have got a US Open champion with me for a What's in the Bag. I've got Matt Fitzpatrick. Matt, thanks for coming on.
How are you?
I'm really well, but I have got a slight bone to pick with you.
Okay.
So I do a lot of the gear stuff for Golf Monthly, and I am responsible for a lot of the What's in the Bags. Normally you're quite easy because your stuff stayed pretty constant for a while.
Yeah.
There's been a bit of chopping and changing going on, which makes my job very difficult. What's going on?
I did that on purpose. I heard about you.
Me?
Yeah.
That's a little bit
No, I just I've had the same shaft in my irons since I was 17, 18, 30 years old now, so you'd think you'd outgrow those shafts. I obviously thought that. Then we kind of changed at the end of last year, coming into this year, kept the shaft, changed brands. A little bit too much chopping and changing, really.
All right, we'll get into that in a little bit more as we go through the bags. If you don't mind, I'm going to start at the top. And under here, yeah?
Driver, yes.
So we've got the Sheffield United head cover.
Yep.
We won't talk about that, although it's been a reasonable start to the season for you guys, isn't it? So we've got a TSI 3, so an older model. Noticing this head is very new, so I'm assuming that's something to do with what happened recently out in the States with the
cracked
or not cracked face.
Exactly, yeah. So just that's the backup I've carried around for a while, and obviously, having to put it in play now is something that I've had to do.
So what does that process look like for you? Do you have spare heads? Do you have to source them? Have you got some you can cherry pick from?
Yeah, the guys at Titleist have looked after me over the years and make sure they put 2 or 3 aside, and they've got a few on the truck in the US, a few in Europe, and then I've got a few at home in the US as well. So that one was the one that was traveling with me at the time. It was the last round anyway when my driver cracked, so I've been using that since.
Okay, cool. And we did have a little chat off camera, and you're finding this head's just spinning a little bit more than your previous heads. You've got to do some work on this. How does that look for you from there? Is it going to be a loft adjustment? Is it left to the guys at Titleist? How will that look?
That's out of my
above your pay grade.
Yeah, out of my pay grade. It's that's the stuff that I do with the boys at Titleist. They'll have a look at that, and they'll kind of go from there really, and decide on what they want to do, what's the best course of action really.
Cool. And shaft-wise, so this is an interesting one. So we've got Mitsubishi Tensai Orange. Now, this is a shaft you've been in for quite a long time, So it's 65 grams, TX Flex. So this, I'm a former fitter, so I know this shaft works really well. It's counterbalance for guys that sort of load it quite heavily. I have a little bit like Sergio used this for quite some time. You load it a lot. Is that what you found, and how did you end up in this?
Yeah, I think it's again Liam from Titleist, the guy I've been working with for a long time. He kind of put me straight into this. I was in graphite design for a long time, and he basically said to me, you're outgrown that, spinning it too much, and as soon as I put that one in, it was definitely a different feel, different shot, and definitely for the better.
Okay, cool. And that's something our viewers can learn a lot from. So those of you who create a lot of lag and a lot of sort of load the shaft heavily, counterbalancing that shaft can just give you the chance to square out that club a little bit easier. So that's something to work on. We've got 2 head covers here, and I've pulled out your other driver, and we've got a massive, great whopping flat cat Lankin putter grip. And I've seen you use this at events. Can you talk me through what this is for?
Yeah.
And I've just noticed it's set about 45
it is
degrees.
45 degrees, yeah. So to me, it just helps me feel like my right hand's on top. So when it's on top, it's not coming from underneath. You're not flipping the club. That way, I feel like I can, square the face much easier. And obviously, there's a bunch of other things it helps me do subconsciously. But the main thing for me is I like to feel the right hand on top, that it's not, flipping over.
And you'll hit full shots with that. I've seen you do it, right?
full shots, yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah. Okay, super cool. And that's obviously built to the same spec as your gamer driver?
It is, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So down into 3-wood, we've got another older model from Titleist, a TSI 2, 15 degrees in the B1 setting. So that is standard loft, but slightly flatter. And we're playing it in the same Tensai Orange shaft.
Yes.
How long's this been in the bag, and what do you like about it?
Yeah, I put this in probably March time. It's probably one of my favourite 3-woods I've had in terms of the look, in terms of the feel, shots. I've struggled with clubs normally that have got deep face. I get a lot of dig on the turf, and obviously that causes more fat. So this one's been great. Just kind of been a little bit more clippy off the turf, which I've obviously preferred.
And is that quite a versatile club for you? Are you off the tee and off the fairway?
Yeah, mainly off the tee, but I can hit it off the fairway as well, which is nice.
Cool. Okay, then down to complete the metals, we've got hybrid at the moment. So I've seen you dabble with 9-wood, 7-woods before.
Yeah,
So we're in a hybrid at the moment, same tent size shaft. We've got the TSR2, it's a 4 hybrid, 21 degrees of loft, but slightly less loft on the sleeve. Why are we in the hybrid at the moment versus a 9-wood, 7-wood, or
Yeah, again, I just felt like I was a bit tired of my 7-wood. I didn't feel like I was hitting it as well at the time. I think the stats have shown me since I've put that in, that is a little bit better. I think obviously the end of this season I'll do a bit of an overhaul, see what's working, see what's not. If there is anything that's sort of standing out, I'll obviously kind of move away from that and look for something else. But yeah, in the meantime, it's been good for me, and I like the feel of it.
is that something you chop and change depending on the tournament and the course, or is you're pretty settled?
Can be, can be. Like you say, I've used a 9-wood before for mainly USPGAs when the rough's knee high, and you just need something that's from 200 yards that you can kind of just bunt out and get up by the front of the green. That's been positive in the past.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break from the clubs before we get onto the irons. I just want to talk to you about your shoes. You're a Skechers guy. How important is the golf shoe to you in your game and to our viewers at home? What do you like about the Skechers shoes that you wear?
Yeah, they've been fantastic this year for me. I just feel like, I've not had any soreness in my feet. I mean, that's been a few years now, but these in particular, I feel like the hair wider for me, which is really good, really helpful. So from the comfort factor is obviously huge. We're playing, 27, 28 weeks a year, 18 holes Thursday to Sunday, practice rounds Monday to Wednesday. So you're on your feet a lot. So, you want to have comfort, and they do a great job of that, Skechers. And then obviously you've got the slip-in technology. So when you're feeling extra lazy, you can just slip them on. And then, from the stability standpoint for me, I feel like I've always been quite a high rotational player, so I need that, grounding within my feet, and the shoe's been really beneficial.
Brilliant. So that's a really important part of your bag as well. So let's get back to the clubs and into the irons. So we've got an older model Ping i210 4 iron here. So a lot of the guys I do what's in the bags with tend to have something a little bit chunkier in their longest iron. Is that just a forgiveness thing? Is that a launch thing for you? What's that about?
Combination. I've always wanted a little bit more of a bit more help in the longer stuff. I've never felt like I've been able to hit the longer stuff as well as Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, the guys that launch it really high and can stop it on a sixpence. So for me, that's always been beneficial. I've always felt more comfortable with that. I tried a regular 4-iron in this S55 and just never really got on with it. So.
In terms of what, launch or?
Just strike, feel, yeah, just getting the distance out of it. You miss it slightly, 4-iron's 220 for me, so you miss it slightly, it goes 200, whereas you miss that, it goes 215, so it's a big difference.
Okay, so you've alluded to them already. We're on to your new but old irons.
Yes.
So you were in S55s for forever.
Yes.
Then more recently you had some T100 in the bag from Titleist, because I know your friend Liam McDougall Titleist quite well. Need a lot of work with you on the sole grind, but we're now currently back in a newer version of your old irons, the S55s. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, they work for me. They work for me. I think that's the long and short of it. Is I know what I'm getting with these irons. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is I've had success with them in the past, and to move away from that's always something that you've got to think about. It's not easy to do, and I'm happy that I've trialed that period, and I feel like I'm very comfortable going back to where I was.
So talk to me about how important, because I know on those T100s did a lot of work on the sole and the bounce. Liam was telling me. So something I've been banging the drum about with bounce options in irons potentially coming at a consumer level. You play in so many different grass types, Bermudas, ryegrass, tight links turf. How important is the bounce to you?
It is really important. Yeah, it is. I mean, the funny thing is with these, we were noticing that because the leading edge is sharp here, that it was kind of catching on me and going left. But, I feel like just the comfort of what these have done my entire career versus the new stuff I've tried and haven't really had the success with that we were hoping for. It's something that, I feel like I can accept. I've had great results with these for, 10 years out on tour. So kind of change them. You know, looking back, you're a bit of an idiot.
We're always looking, aren't we? So we've got 5-iron to 9-iron in those, but I've noticed 2 7-irons. One just a practice club, or
Yes,
you
again.
just keep once you don't wear your so you've got the flat cap on again. Right, lovely.
Yeah.
Then we get into the wedges. So we're in SM9s in the 46 and 52.
Are we? I don't know.
We are, and we're up to SM10s in the 56
Yeah.
and 60. So you've got an interesting wedge setup. So you've obviously started cross-handed chipping. Did you have to make any changes to your wedge setup or bounce or anything to do that?
No,
That was just a
nothing.
seamless transition.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, nothing changes there. Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of bounce with your 56 and 60, they're both OA M grinds. So a lot of players, again, that I do what's in the bags with, some will have a very high bounce option and a low bounce option for different turfs. You've got identical bounce there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the consistency of the feel of both. The M grind's important for me from a bunker. That back edge there is really helpful in a bunker. Helps give you a little bit of height. And that was kind of what I was missing. I used to grind it off, so it'd just be rounded back edge, which would be brilliant off the fairway, really smooth, can spin it as much as I want. But in the bunker, it was kind of coming out low with spin, or sometimes low with no spin, where this just gives me that elevation and allows me to stop it with flight rather than spin.
Perfect, great. And finally in the clubs, and you made me not even put this in the bag because you didn't want it dinged about at all, did you? So you got your Bettinardi putter. So the story on this was it started as a Yes Tracy 2 years ago that you played with, and you wanted just the same putter, but you couldn't get hold of it anymore. Is that right? And then Bettinardi stepped in?
Yeah, I bought numerous Yes putters online, and friends gave me them, and all sorts. And yeah, I've got plenty. But what we noticed was that the back line, there was a defect in the back line, so the back line was actually pointing to the right. So Phil Kenyon, my putting coach, noticed it at first. It was like I'd lined the putter up, and he's like, your face is left.
The back compared to the leading edge, they didn't correspond.
So the sight line, yeah. So, that was pointing right. So then I'd square the putter, and then the putter would be aiming left. You know, so obviously the putter's aiming left, and then you think you've hit a good putt because you've lined it up, but it goes left. And so we noticed that, and then obviously Bettinardi, I think, got in touch with my dad quite a few years ago now, and then that's been a relationship over numerous years, at least 7 or 8 years, I think, and then eventually they went at it for me and gave it a good go and did a great job.
And how long has this one been in the bag?
Since 2019, I think. Yeah.
Okay, superb.
Yeah,
so old time. Don't worry, I'm not going to pop it back in the bag. And finally, if you could just tell me what ball do you play, Matt?
I now play the 19X. Yeah.
So you changed
I was 19X. I've always been 19X since it came out. I used 21X from about March till last week. And
was that to match with you at the other irons?
Made to last week. It was to match with my blueprint. Yeah. They weren't spinning enough.
Fully understood. And then when you are changing ball, finally on the ball,
I don't change ball.
Okay, we'll scrap that then.
I never change ball. I regret changing ball. No changing ball.
Perfect. Well, that's an easy end to that. So that's brilliant, Matt Fitzpatrick. That's your what's in the bag. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.